the purpose of life. You guys are going to enjoy this. I'm going to spill the beans immediately, and you're going to hear it now directly from me. And it is to allocate resources correctly. Okay, but let me just explain what I mean by this specific term. The end goal in mind is for you to be happy. Okay, now some people might argue on this one, but me personally, this is what I want. Okay, if you want something different, I don't know. But life quality for me is to be able to be happy all of the time, right? Which doesn't really exist because it's a feeling, and so it goes up and down. But you can be happy the vast majority of the time, and you can keep your happiness between an 8, 9, and a 10 on a 1 to 10 scale, okay? That's kind of what success is. It's going from failure to failure, which is basically what life is, without losing enthusiasm. You learning how to best allocate the resources that you have in order for you to achieve true success, which is the fulfillment of true joy, bliss, and happiness on a vast majority continuum, okay? Where you are enjoying life massively as a result of you having allocated resources correctly, okay? So the opposite of allocating resources correctly is to do it incorrectly. In other words, you're prioritizing the wrong things, okay? What are we allocating? You only have a few resources in life, okay? Especially in the beginning. Eventually, over time, you can develop these resources and then it becomes fantastic. But in the beginning, you've got almost nothing. However, you've got your attention, okay? And this is the attention economy because we're continuously moving towards the next step in terms of the world, us understanding what actually matters and what doesn't matter. And business owners have begun to understand that attention is everything, right? Data is everything. Attention is everything. Personal branding is everything. Like all of these things make up business today, because the more you are able to develop trust between you and the people that you're communicating with online, the better your life is going to be from a perspective of them supporting you, right? Because people don't want to support those that they don't trust in or that they don't believe in. And so as a result, we have to build a personal brand to kind of show the world as much as possible of who we are, right? And so that's the attention economy. So you have something that's very valuable for business owners out there who are trying to create resources for themselves, right? So the key then is to understand that you have something that is extremely valuable, your attention and your attention span. All right. What's next? Well, your time. Now, obviously, attention, energy, and time is kind of the same thing. It's actually the exact same thing if you really think about it. What you put your attention to is basically where you are spending your time. If you are putting your attention on multiple things like multitasking, then you are spreading your time too thin, meaning that you're not using your time very effectively compared to what you could have done, right? So attention, energy, focus, time, all the same. And the other thing that you have is money. So those are the two things very often that people want more of. I'm explaining the purpose of life here, okay? People want more of time and money. They want to live longer, but also they want to be able to do the things that they like during their lifespan, right? So health and the ability to do what I want to do when I want to do it. And then the next key is with whoever I want. But that is the next level, okay? We'll talk about that in a second. First of all, is you recognizing that you want more time to do what you want, and you want more time on this planet if your life is a happy one, because that's how it works, right? If you have a happy life, then you'd prefer to continue with that life, right? Okay, so the other aspect of things is money. If you have money, then at least for sufficiency for your needs, then you now are allocating resources accordingly. So if you have a full-time job, you're going to allocate resources for rent. You're going to allocate resources for food. You're going to allocate resources for transportation, for friends or social activities or traveling or whatever it is that you spend your money on. Hopefully, you are also allocating resources to growing your income. This is the most important category to spend money on in the beginning of your lifestyle when you don't have that much money. because you don't have a lot of money. So you should be spending money on things that would increase your money so that you have more resources to now take things to the next level in every single aspect of life, right? Okay, so that's the money aspect. The last part, or the third category of life, you got health, you got financials, and then you've got relationships. The only reason why we want time and money freedom is because we want amazing relationships. At the end of the day, that's what produces happiness. You're unhappy if you have a lack of health, and you could be unhappy even though you're healthy. Interesting. In terms of money, you're not happy if you don't have any money, although some people say that poor people are happy. But if you actually went inside of their day-to-day activities and inside of their home, you'd realize that they probably aren't that happy, right? They've got issues a lot of the time that other people can't see, and they have to put a smile on their face in order for them to succeed in their day-to-day business. Okay, so that's why you very often see poor people being happy, so to speak, but you don't know what's going on in their house. Okay, so it's just in general. You need some form of money or resources in order for you to live a fulfilling life. And you will not be happy if you don't have the basic necessities, right? But then it is possible for you to have lots of resources and to be unhappy. So if you take that to the next level and you go to the third category of life, can you have fantastic relationships and be unhappy? No, you cannot. If you have fantastic relationships in your life, you will not be unhappy. Now, the key point is that the only reason why those relationships are functioning is because you're living life according to principle. Things are actually working in your life, and that's why you have relationships that work. If your life doesn't work, then your relationship probably won't work. And I'm not just talking about romantic relationships, I'm talking about your parents, your siblings, your friends, your colleagues, your boss, your clients, everything has to do with relationships and connecting with people. And if you're good at it, people skills, and you are doing it in a sincere manner, then you are taking things to the next level in your life from a happiness perspective, because things now are working in that section. Okay, so even if you don't have money, you don't have your health, you could still be happy because you've got relationships. So you could just think about this rich dude, but he's been amazing at developing his relationships and his family and his friends, etc. He will still be happy at the, on his deathbed because he had the people that were closest to him still there. You want to be able at the end of your life to have some form of health, right? To at least be able to move and all this stuff. You just die of old age at 130 years old. Fantastic. You want to have the ability to have lots of money. Personally, I don't know if I want to have a lot of money at the end of my life, because I'd rather have that distributed in a fantastic manner in a way that is beneficial for the future of the world, rather than me giving it over, just passing it on to my family, because I don't believe personally in inheritance, other than if they're doing amazing things, then I want to donate all my money to what they're doing, right? But if they're just living regular lives and they don't know how to handle money, I'm not going to give my money to my kids, okay? So they've got to learn that certain principles have to be applied. So going back to what I was saying in the beginning of the video, the purpose of life is to learn how to best allocate the resources that have been given you and to be grateful for those resources so that you can grow them. Meaning you can expand your lifespan, you expand your health capacities, you can expand the money that you've got so that you can help people, so that you can expand the relationships that you have with people to the next level, especially the ones in your inner circle. That's the purpose of life. And I hope I simplified this good enough for you. And the best way to learn how to allocate resources is to first start with your personal finances. We've got systems inside of OnTrack where we take care of that. OnTrack is the community of guys that I've got working with me right now. We're about 25 guys inside of our community. The goal is to bring that to hundreds upon thousands upon tens of thousands of people in the future. If you want to be part of something great in what we're doing there, come and learn financials with us. Come and learn consistency and how to build up an amazing life with us. But we do that with GRIP, which stands for Growth Fund, Reserve Fund, Indispensables, and Play. And then, on the other hand, you want to understand business, entrepreneurship, because that is the only role of a CEO and a founder, is to understand how to correctly prioritize the allocation of resources in order for the brand and the company to take things to the next level. So hope you got tons of stuff out of this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one.